Hey, what's up, guys? Here's a quick video that I wanted to do just to do a intro on the next future projects, upgrades that I want to do to the Land Cruiser, and most of them has to do with the front end. So I just wanted to point that out. But anyways, here's just a quick before video, and I wanted to just talk about a couple of things that I got in mind. First is going to be upgrading this winch from a small 2,000 pound that I used to use for smaller machines and things like that, to a bigger one. Obviously, more uh, torque and that kind of stuff. But that's going to be a future project, and I wanted to talk about that a little bit. The one here is mounted directly on the bumper, and the idea with the new one is going to be mounted to the frame a little bit, and it's just going to be a little bit different configuration. I'm still debating on the bumper itself. This bumper, as you can see, has a small dent or a small hit on the side there. And it's not terrible, that super noticeable, but it's noticeable enough that you can see that it's been hit before. So I'm still debating if I'm going to go with the Trail Tailor front bumper or an ARB, or although I don't like the ARB because I think that the ARB kind of takes away from the front end of the Land Cruiser. It hides a lot of the cool features of the FJ60, which the round lights, the big Toyota bold letters, that kind of stuff. It's kind of hard to see with those big bulky ARB bumpers. And they're kind of like cookie cutters too. A lot of people have them. A lot of people they seem to be very popular. So I'm kind of going with more like a custom look. It's gonna be more like a nice flush bumper that you're gonna be able to see the Toyota logo and the lights and all those features, with obviously a cut right there, and in the center for the cable of the winch to come out and that kind of stuff. For that, of course, I gotta heat up that frame a little bit and kind of like get it back into place. That's maybe like half an inch off or whatever, but something that it shouldn't be too difficult to do, but it still needs done. As far as the lights itself, right now I have the stock light bulbs, and they are terrible, as most people point out on the forums or even in different videos on the web. You can read and look at a lot of videos. People say how crappy the stock light bulbs are, and they are. They are very low. They're not bright at all, and they just don't look that good. So the idea is to upgrade those, hopefully to something that it will look nicer, and it's still gonna be round light bulb, either an H4 or an LED. I'm still debating on that, but the idea will be to upgrade to something that it will be a little bit more bright, that it will give them a little bit more bite at night and that kind of thing. And then put a couple of smaller auxiliary lights. Those are not bad. Those are LEDs, and they work pretty well. They're super bright, but they're in the small size. I think those are like 5.5 inches, and I wanted to do something probably like 7 inches, maybe 7.5, and they will look more kind of like the size of the stock light right there. That's kind of like maybe like a secondary. That's a little bit smaller, but maybe a secondary light right there. So anyway, those are the future projects, and this is just an intro of the before. I want to obviously I'm going to repaint the plastic for the grill. You can see a couple of chips there. The paint is chipped over the years, and I'm gonna repaint those black. And I'm gonna change this light bulb here. Not the light bulb, I mean the lens, the plastic lens it's got a small crack on it. It's not huge, but noticeable enough that you can see it, and On the side there's a little bit of a small little crack that let some water in. So sometimes you will see a little water inside that lens. So anyway, that's gonna be replaced, and hopefully in the next few videos you'll see when I start working on the bumper, replacing the two little lights, then the winch, then the light bulbs, the big light bulbs, and then the lenses and the painting and all that. So the whole front end of the truck will have a nice feel to it. It will look much better aesthetically, and you know, it will be more functional. We'll have more light, a lot more power on the winch, and a little bit more bite, if you will, for the truck. Other than that, it's going to be a work in progress. There is still some rust mitigation that we need to do, and a couple other things. So anyway, stay tuned, and we're going to do a few of those videos in the next couple of weeks or in coming months as time and other factors permits. All right, stay tuned, and don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm just kind of doing a quick review on a couple of parts that I started ordering online. Obviously these are Chinese parts, so they're not Japanese parts for the Land Cruiser, but you know, they were kind of cheaper, and I wanted to do a quick review on some of these plastic parts. That really doesn't really matter, but my first impression, you know, is opening the box. You know, it's a couple of light holders, as you can see. Mine's in the Land Cruiser, a couple of them are just worn out and broken, so I decided that it was time to upgrade the front. You know, I'm gonna do some upgrade to the headlights and stuff, and I felt like these parts were kind of needed as well. So here's the first piece. This looks like the right light, and packaging looks good. Here's the light itself, and here's the left. They're well marked, and here's the other side. So again, first impressions, they're pretty good. Seem to be identical to the original ones. You know, it's a plastic piece, so there's not much to it. Right now this is like a gray color, but I'm actually gonna spray paint this with plastic dip. So the plan is to plastic dip this bad boys black, so they kind of match the blackout front of the truck, and then we'll install that with the new headlights. I'm doing some LEDs, and I think they're gonna go really well with the truck. So let me just move this quick here, and I'll come over here. So you can see here on this light, you can see that it's broken, right? You know, it's a little loose and broken, you know, over the years. You can see cracks here on the light itself, and I'm going to upgrade this to LED. But basically this is a new plastic piece that will go right here. It's gonna be black to match, and the new lights. Walk over here. Here's the new light, and that's gonna go there. So hopefully that will match well, and we'll take it from there. Let me open this package, and I'll come back and do a little video on. Hey, what's up everyone? I just took this headlights out of my truck. You can see as soon as I took them off, the glass, they completely came apart. I don't know if you can appreciate there, but I mean, they're supposed to be sealed, and they just completely came apart. So I mean, that was probably part of the reason why these things were not working that well and not that bright. Anyways, I'm gonna start working on doing an upgrade, a major upgrade to these lights, and I already got some of the replacement parts, the new parts, some of the lenses. I took this covers off. I also took the grill out, and as you can see, just doing major upgrades to all that. I also noticed that the housing where the lights go is all dirty and the paint is chipping off and all that. So I'm gonna take these 3 screws out and just get the whole housing out and just kind of like spray paint it black. The same thing with the one over there, and just try to get that done. But anyways, just yeah, no wonder why the lights were not working right, but for whatever reason. And these plugs also look like they have seen better days, so I'm gonna have to replace those as well. All right, stay tuned. Okay, so I also went to the hardware store, and I was able to find all the screws in stainless steel. So I got replacements for all the lights. Just bear with me here a second. Anyway, this were the screws. These are the old ones, and it's just a steel screw that goes into the lights. Anyways, I was able to find them all in stainless steel, so this should be a nice upgrade to the brand new lights. So we're gonna have brand new lights. I was also able to find these guys, so I can put in every single one one of those missing and be able to replace. And then the same thing with these little guys right here. I forget what these are for, but I was able to find the same ones in metric stainless steel. Anyway, just a cool little side note upgrade type of thing, that some of those old bolts that are a little rusty, and some of the bolts that the front had are not even part of they look like construction screws. They're not even mechanical screws or whatever, but some of these were part of the grill, and it's the same with the lights and stuff like that. Anyways, I'm gonna be able to clean these guys, and I'm gonna save them. I'm not gonna throw them away, because you know, I can always, if something breaks or whatever, I can always use these as a spare ones or backup ones, because they're not in bad condition. That one has a crack, but this one is in pretty decent condition. Now, I did notice that they have a gasket. Here's the gasket, and you can see that this gasket came for one of the lenses, and it's all broken, and the other one didn't have it. And I noticed that the new ones don't come with a gasket, so I need to go on and get those online. The other thing I noticed too is that on the Taiwanese light covers, right, the ones that I bought, this is the old one, but on the Taiwanese one that I bought, these squares right here that hold this little plastic piece, that if you take that plastic piece out, right, that's kind of like the little piece that you screw into that. There we go. That's a good. But that little plastic piece, these squares are like double the size. So they're basically, you see how the outside of this plastic cap is? That's kind of like the new ones are like that big, probably a little bit bigger. So they're definitely bigger than these. So I'm gonna have to, like, these old ones are not gonna fit. So I'm gonna have to find those that fit that size, and they're drying right now with primers. Otherwise, I will be able to show you and compare. I'll do a side by side in a minute, but you can see that these are bigger. But anyways, there's 4 of them where the light lens screws into it. So something to be aware of if you're buying those Japanese, not Japanese, if you're buying the Taiwanese, I meant. Replacement parts that you see on eBay and things like that, you know, they're obviously Chinese parts that are cheaper than the original Japanese ones. So just be aware that these holes right here are going to be bigger, and that you're gonna need to find plastic pieces to fit that, so you have the 4 little corners to screw your lens to. So anyway, something to be aware of. and I figured that I wanted to mention that just in case that you are looking to buy some of these replacement parts. Okay, I'll make a couple other videos as things develop, and as I said, the stainless steel bolts I think are gonna be a nice upgrade to the existing ones. Okay, I got all the plastic parts clean, sanded, and primed. Well, the Toyota emblem only on the underneath. I gotta flip it and then prime the other side, but for the most part I got it all cleaned up, prepped and primed, ready for paint. And I'm gonna be using these guys here, Rust-Oleum. I have a good experience with it. It was on sale, so anyways, there is little bit of sanding here that I still need to do, but for the most part it's getting there. So all the parts sanded, prepped and ready to go. Waiting for the primer to dry so I can start doing the first and the second coat of paint. Okay, in this part of the video I just wanted to take a quick review on this plastic pieces, replacement pieces that I bought that are Chinese made, Taiwanese made. So what I wanted to point out, there's a couple of things that you need to consider if you are thinking about buying these, which overall fit in the Land Cruiser. They're pretty good. You know, they're well made. No problems there as far as the configuration of the plastic or how strong they are. They're identical to the Japanese replacement. However, there is a couple of things to consider, and this is the things that are pretty annoying to me, really. And the first one that I want to point out is that the Taiwanese part comes with these holes right here, these 4 holes, where you're supposed to put these little plastic grommets to hold the screws for the actual lens, are a lot bigger than the Japanese one. So in the Japanese one, it comes with, you know, this little tiny grommets that when you put a screw through it, the screw feels really tight, and this sit really tight on the plastic. On this Chinese ones, you can see how big they are, and the grommets don't fit as well as it does on the Japanese pieces. So something that you want to consider, because it took me a little while to find this grommet that actually fits okay enough for me to even put the light. I thought about, you know, a few different options here, and I actually had to, you know, like bend the little legs out so they kind of fit nice and tight there. So it was really annoying. So I think, I mean, I just don't understand why they can't just make this hole the same size as the old ones so the thing fits. So the other thing I want to point out is that, and that this is the reason why it makes it so annoying, is because the bigger that this plastic grommet is, the bigger a screw that you need to fit on it, obviously. But the problem is that I got the screws, right, that I replaced all the screws with stainless steel. And the problem is that this hole right here only allows you to go with this size screw. If you go anything bigger, it won't fit here on the plastic. So it's either fits here on the plastic or don't fit the grommets. So something that you want to consider, I have troubleshoot a couple of different options, found this, and what I'm going to end up doing is just putting a washer behind it. And it's not ideal because it's a pain in the butt, but it will hold in place fine. Keep in mind that you're not supposed to be touching or replacing this a lot, but something to keep in mind. So in the second thing that really annoyed me was that these don't come with gaskets. The gasket that sit here that actually seals this plastic piece, you know, it doesn't come with it. So, and I called the distributor, and they really don't have the part. However, Toyota still makes these gaskets for the Land Cruiser, and it's one of the few things that you can still find in the market today. So I actually went to the Toyota dealership and I bought the gaskets separate. They were like $5-6 each, so it's not a tremendous amount of money, but something to think about as you're putting these together. So I will put the description, the Toyota part, but here's the part. The part number is 815129080. So if you're interested, on that part number, I will put the description below. But anyway, so those are the two things that in reviewing these Taiwanese made parts, I will say, honestly, for the price, they are so cheap, right? They're like a third of the price of the Japanese ones. If you're able to deal with these little annoyances, then you're okay. If you don't want to be dealing with these annoyances and chasing other parts around and that kind of stuff, then I will suggest that these are maybe not part for you and you go just with the Toyota replacements, but know that you're going to pay, 3 or 4 times as much, 3 or 4 times more, I meant. So anyways, just keep that in mind, and that's my quick review on this Taiwanese made replacement lenses for the Toyota Land Cruiser.